Hi, I'm James and I've got Matt with me this time, and we're going to take you through another home session that you can do purely with body weight. We've got a couple of bits of kit we're going to use. So we're using a chair here, but again, anything that's about this height and a solid object, so a chair or a bed, a sofa would all work fine, but we will show you an alternative if you've got nothing suitable. And then we're going to use a small step, but you could use a stack of books or a first step on a set of stairs would be fine. Let's start off with the warm-up. So Matt, if you want to get yourself on all fours on the mat, knees under the hips and the hands under the shoulders. And we're going to start with these bird dogs. We're going to extend back, opposite arm, opposite leg. Lovely stuff. And the key thing is trying to avoid any twisting or rotating. Looking good. Back is nice and flat and we're not arching at the top. Lovely stuff. Yeah, very nice. From there, if you want to go into some fire hydrants, so rotating that leg out to the side, hips facing down, and feel the work in the side of the hip. So trying to activate that glute medius muscle. Very nice. Okay, great job, my man. Let's change legs. Okay, lovely stuff. Next up, you want to roll over onto your back and we're going to go into some glute bridges. So here, Matt's going to press down through the heels, push the hips up and squeeze his bum at the top. Yeah, very nice. And this time we're trying to activate the glute max, so the big muscle in the bum. So ideally you should feel the work in your bum, not too much in the hamstrings or the back. Great work. From there, let's go into a press-up position, and we're going to move on to some mobilizations. So from here, Matt's going to push his hips up as high as he can, heels down towards the floor, little pause in that position, and then back down. Lovely stuff. And we're looking to feel a big stretch along the back of the leg. So Matt's going to push up, think about pushing his head away from the hands, trying to get the heels down towards the floor, keeping the knees straight, the back as flat as possible. And again, we should be getting this big stretch all through the calves and maybe the hamstrings. Lovely job. Let's go on to some groiners next. So one leg up, nice and high outside the hands. Then we're going to reach up overhead as high as you can, same arm, same leg. Good man, and then change sides. So looking at nice, slow, deliberate movements, pausing in all these stretch positions. Lovely job. Okay, good man. Okay, one more mobilization. If we go into some rock backs next, some adductor rock backs. So we're going to go one knee down, and then the other leg out very wide and straight. That's it. And then rock the hips back as far as you can. Big stretch up the inside of the thigh, and then rock the hip forward. Lovely job. Brilliant stuff. You can see Matt's doing a really good job of keeping his back nice and flat here as he goes back, and not rounding excessively. So the key is trying to get the motion through the hips and not through the back. Great job. Okay, change legs there. And again, the wider the stance is, the bigger the stretch is going to be. So if it doesn't feel like a big stretch, you can push that straight leg a bit wider. And as we rock forward, you're looking to get a little stretch in the front of the hip and the bent leg. There we go, very nice. Okay, good man. Let's go up on your feet next, and we're going to go for some overhead squats. So arms up in the air, high as you can, feet shoulder width apart, squat down nice and deep. Lovely job. And we want the feet flat on the floor, and we're trying to let the arms fall forward as you go down. Great job. Nice and slow and controlled descent. Lovely job. Good man, well done. Okay, let's narrow the feet next. Hips shoulder width apart. Feet hip width apart even. Hands across shoulders, and then little bend in the knees, and we're going to push the hips back, keeping the chest up and the back flat. Very nice. We call this a hip hinging action because we're essentially hinging over at the hips without any rounding of the back. So if you think about pushing your hips backwards and keeping the chest up facing forwards towards the opposite wall, that'll encourage your back to be in a good position. Great work. Very nice. Okay, let's go with some split squats next. So let's get set up in a nice long stance with the hips facing forward. And we're going to drop that back knee straight down towards the floor. That's it. Take all the load on the front leg and push back up. Very nice. So again, we want that front leg doing all of the work. And the action you can see really nicely here, Matt's hips dropping vertically straight down and not forwards and down. Okay, great work. Let's change legs. Beautiful job. You also see Matt's torso position, he's inclined slightly forwards, right, rather than being bolt upright, and that helps us keep the weight on the front leg, which is essentially the working leg. So we don't want to be too upright, we do just want that slight incline forwards. Brilliant stuff. Okay, let's go feet very wide for the next one, toes pointed forwards. And we're going to go for some lateral squats. So we're going to sit the hips down towards one side. Nudge that one back a little bit. That's it, we just alternate sides, right? So go one side, then the other. There we go, good man. Very nice. Essentially trying to get as low as you can. So you might feel a little stretch on the straight leg, on the inside of the thigh. Brilliant job. Okay, last one in the warm-up, and here's the tester for the stability point of view, because we're going to do a reaching single leg Romanian deadlift, okay? So a little bend in the knee, and then Matt's going to reach out, think about getting as long as you can. Lovely job, very nice, good work. And again, trying to keep the hips facing down, back foot facing down, lovely job. Good man. Okay, change legs. So Matt's making these look easy, but they are tricky to stabilize, so don't worry if you wobble around, that's normal. Great work. Okay, fantastic, well done. Right, let's go into our strength work now. So we're going to start off with a Bulgarian split squat, or sometimes called a rear foot elevated split squat. And this is where we're going to use our bench or our chair or sofa or any solid object. He's going to have his back foot draped over the back, looking good. And then from here, he's going to drop the back knee down towards the floor, push through the front leg and stand up. And we're going to do 10 reps. But you can do whatever reps works for you, okay? So if 10 is challenging, you could do fewer. 10 feels comfortable, you could do more. Key thing is the front leg is doing all the work, so we're trying to avoid any pushing off through the back leg. And it's essentially like a harder version of the split squat we did in the warm-up, because this time he's got more of his weight through the front leg and he's going through a bigger range of motion, so the hip and knee are going through a bigger range. And also stabilizing is slightly harder because you've only got less stability from the back leg this time. Beautiful stuff, Matt. I'm gonna wedge myself back here to make sure the bench doesn't move around. So if you've got a chair at home, I would recommend having it pushed up against the wall. Lovely stuff, and again, all through the front leg. Front leg does all the work, trying to minimize any push off that back foot. Looking good. Okay, lovely stuff. Next up in this one, we're going to go with an elevated feet push-up, and this is essentially just a slightly harder version of a regular press-up. So I'd say if you find regular press-ups tough, I would stick with a regular press-up. If a regular press-up is comfortable and you could knock out sort of 10 to 15 reps with perfect form, then we can try with elevating the feet. Here we're using a step, but you could use a stack of books, or you could use the bottom step on a set of stairs, whatever you've got. Okay, Matt, if you want to get into position on this one. So nice straight line from the head through to the heels. That's it. Slow descent, positive push on the way up. Lovely stuff. And if you look at Matt's elbow position here, he's nice and tucked like this. So he has this like A shape from his head through down to his elbows, which is a nicer, safer position on the shoulders than having them flared up and out to the side. Great work, really nice. If this variation was too hard, we could do an incline press up with the hands up on the box. So essentially you're working with whatever variation works well for you. Lovely stuff, Matt, well done. So we're just doing one set on this one today, but you could do 2 sets or 3 sets even if you want to do a longer workout. Right, let's go on to the next exercises next. So we're going to have a look at a reverse lunge next. So we're going to take a nice long deep step back. Let's do 12 reps on each leg for these ones and then drive up through the front leg. So key thing here, again, think about the front leg as the one doing all of the work. So this time sort of the more dynamic version of the split squat we've done before. Lovely job. Looking good. And again, we can see this slight forward torso lean at the bottom. That helps us keep that weight on the front leg, on the working leg. That squeezing the glute on the way up. So we should be feeling this through the quads and the glutes. Great job, looking good, man. Well done. Fantastic work. Very nice. Well done, my man. Well done. So again, this is a sort of a strength-based session, but because we're moving quickly between all the exercises, we're going to have a conditioning element in that the heart rate is going to stay elevated throughout. Okay, let's go into a plank position, and we're going to go for a plank reach next. So a plank reach is quite a challenging plank variation. So I would say if you find regular planks hard, you can go with a regular plank instead. But if you can do a plank reach, let's give it a try. Okay, so we got set basically in a regular plank position, but we got our feet set slightly wider, okay? And then whenever we're ready, we're gonna reach as far forward as we can. We're gonna do 10 reps on each side, nice and slow, that's good. And essentially here, we're trying to keep the hips and shoulders perfectly square. So we're trying to avoid is too much rocking around of the hips. And you see Matt's doing a really good job of keeping them nice and still. But having the hands reach out in front adds an extra element of instability, which makes it more challenging on the core muscles. Great job, my man. How are we doing? Good? Sweating? Good man. Okay, right guys, let's move on to our last exercises. So 3 more in this session. And we're going to start with some glute walkouts. So you want to use the mat for this one? Okay, so glute walkouts, an exercise for the glutes, as the name suggests, and the hamstrings. To be honest, we're probably going to feel it more in the hamstrings than the glutes. So we're going to bridge up into a glute bridge position like we did in the warm-up. Think about having the glutes squeezed and switched on in this position, and then Matt's going to take little steps out, nice and slow. And we're going to do like 5 to 10 reps on this one. That's it. You'll notice his bum should never touch the floor, and then he's going to walk them back in. And essentially, the further those legs go out, the harder the exercise becomes. And we're going to feel all the work through the glutes and the hamstrings. Keep the abs braced as well, and just be conscious that we're never ending up in this really extended position in the back. So abs are braced and the ribs are locked down. So we shouldn't be feeling any work in the lower back at any stage. It should all be glutes and hamstrings. Very nice. Matt's got a nice big range here. He can get his legs all the way out, but you can work to the range, which is good for you. So Matt, if you show them on the next one, like a shorter range where you don't go the legs out quite so far, this is what you could do if you find this one hard, right? You just go out to about here and then back in. So you're just working at a range that you can control. Very nice, my man. How many is that? One more, one more. Lovely stuff, well done. I'm going to borrow Matt's stopwatch for the next couple, so you might need a timer for this one. So the next one we're going to go for is an isometric hold, and it's an adductor bridge. So Matt, if you get yourself into this position, we're going to go one elbow down. So we'll just go on with the foot on the floor rather than elevated, Matt. We'll make it slightly easier for you. Okay, so he's going to go into like a top leg side plank position with the bottom knee bent in. There we go. We're going to hold this position. I've been super slow on this stopwatch, Matt, so you're going to be working for even longer, my man. Well done. Okay, so We should be feeling the work all up the inside of the thigh here, okay? Because basically we're having to maintain this side plank position, and the adductors are working with this big isometric contraction throughout. Looking good, looking good. Keep it there, keep it there. So we're going to go sort of 30-second holds. Well done. Good job. Okay, when we're ready, let's go on the other side. Okay, ready, bridge up. Okay, good man. So again, trying to keep this nice alignment with the hips facing forwards, not rotating backwards. Looking good, looking good, looking good. And we should be feeling all the work all up the inside of the thigh, all the adductors. Keep it there, keep it there, keep it there. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good man, well done, well done. Okay, you're nearly there, Matt, you're nearly there. Last exercise. Right, last exercise is a hollow body hold, okay? So we're gonna show you a few different positions, right? Easier one, harder one, middle one and a harder one. And this one you're gonna hold for sort of 30 to 60 seconds on, whatever's comfortable for you. Matt, I'll tell you what, let's do 15 seconds in each position, right? If we start with the hardest one and then we move to the easier one, how about that? So essentially, you want your lower back on the floor and shoulder blades up off the floor. So whenever you're ready, the hardest one is like this, that Matt's doing here, with the arms up, elevated over the head. Lower back's on the floor and you should be feeling all the work through the core muscles. Very nice. Some of you might know this as a dish position, so it's that's it, that's 15 seconds. So we'll move to the middle one next. So that's the hands down by your side, ready, and let's go. Okay, good job, just lift the hands up in the air. There we go, lovely stuff. This is a slightly easier version. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, okay? And then if we go with the easier one, which is the knees bent. Okay, ready? And let's go. Okay, very nice. So there we've seen basically 3 versions of the same exercise. So go with whichever one feels good for you, but you want to be able to hold it for at least 30 seconds. Looking good. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Matt, well done, good job. Okay guys, that was today's session. Again, we've done 1 set of every exercise, but you can make the session longer by doing 2 or even 3 sets of each one. Okay, thank you very much.